It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Tokpe Mark Odige, and with me as usual are the ladies. Once again today we bring in someone from Your View PJ. So let me start off with Chika. Chika, how you doing?
I am excited, you can tell, right? I'm absolutely thrilled. Every time I get the chance to view the ladies, to just experience a different vibe and steez, I am all for it. Super excited to be here. Let me use Jay-Z. Let me use Jay-Z.
That is steez. You're the one that has the steez.
Thank you for having me.
We're excited to have you as well. Nima, what's going on? White and white.
Okay.
You just have to rhyme with somebody.
No, me and Amaka.
When the spirit.
This brief was given to me by Trish. So Trish, you know my Trish,
Yes.
right? Ilorin Connect.
Yes.
She styles me all the way from Ilorin. Sent me this as a box of gifts. Prayer dresses, abayas, hijabs, everything. So she sent this. I decided to combine them with my birthday gift from my sister, Mariam. Since everything match.
Looking nice. Looking
I stay in the birthday spirit.
Yes,
Thank you so much for
All
the
through
love.
the month anyway.
Mariam, Trish, yeah. Thank you.
All right, so Nima is wearing white, and definitely we would see somebody else on the show. We seem to be really in sync this season,
Yes.
so also wearing white. But then
Yeah.
she did not just do white, though. She went all the way. Please.
The
Who are you
fashion lover,
representing?
Younger Lagos. Anyways, yes, so I've been craving afan soup. And then I decided to rep my Akwa Ibom people. You know, my love for them, they're industrious people and everything. I said, you know what, today I'm going to rep you guys. And I hope I did a fantastic job.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, and how are you, my darling?
I have rant. I need to rant. So
rant.
I've mentioned this a few times, and I just feel like, okay, let's be respecting. You cannot just take over and be complaining about this thing over and over again. So I have two staff. I am a Nigerian business owner employing Nigerians, and two of my farmers have been arrested and been in prison for the same
people.
for over 3 months. These people are innocent. There are no evidence against them. The police the military force beats them to stupor. I have the police, the hospital reports of how they were beaten by the military under the allegation that they stole cables. They stole the Ikeja disco cables. So when they handed over to the police doesn't have like evidence of what was given to them. They said they now took them to Ikoyi prison. They've been in Ikoyi prison for over 3 months. I'm paying lawyers. My lawyer is going to the court. They've not presented them in court since. Every time they're supposed to go to court, one excuse or the other. Innocent Nigerian young people, because they have the misfortune of wanting to work hard in Nigeria. They don't want to steal. They don't want to be criminals. They are farmers, and now they are being. And I'm paying money. I'm sending them money for food on a weekly basis. For the past 3 months, they are not working. I'm paying for the lawyer. We have moved the case, say because a court is too far. We move the case to, and you know, when you are anytime lawyer, my legal people here, you have to pay money. And all of this is going on. Families, the parents are calling me every day like, we asked boys to come to Lagos to come and work, and then now they are in detention. Please, my appeal is this slow justice system is killing innocent Nigerians, and we cannot continue like this. We should not have to bribe to get people being fair hearing. In this case, I'm not even someone that I cannot afford lawyer. We have lawyer. It's a case of get these people from Ikoyi prison to the courts. They will not meet it. Either there's no field, or the bus is full, or they cannot get into it. Over 3 months for innocent people to be in prison, it is wrong. Awaiting trial, please.
Absolutely.
I don't know who is responsible. Help. This one, I am fully ranting with my full chest, because those parents were calling me on Monday and they were crying, sending me voice notes crying. I cannot continue to keep quiet. That's all we can take on this banter and my ranting. I'm praying somebody will guide me on who to talk to that will help me to solve this problem. We'll take a break. When we return, don't worry, I'll switch into the mode of newspaper review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. We're starting our front page review with The Nation as usual. Major headline, actually there's only one story in The Nation. NNPCL, petrol sells for half its landing cost as of now, which means there is some sigini going on there. All right, so who has that story?
So I'll let other people start with this. I have the major headline.
Okay, so let me start. So Akume leads panel to facilitate autonomy for local government. A step towards the implementation of the July 11th Supreme Court verdict on local government autonomy was taken yesterday. The federal government inaugurated a 10-man inter-ministerial committee to enforce it. In this verdict, the Apex Court declared it unconstitutional for governors to hold and administer funds allocated to local government from the Federation account. It ruled that the 774 council areas should manage their funds independent of states and that the allocation from the Federation account allocation committee should go directly to them and no longer through the state-local government joint account. I don't know why they still have to, put together a panel to enforce this, because this is something that should just fly. Why are the governors still trying to hold on to these funds is what I don't know. But anyways, the committee, Senator George Akume was named chairman of the committee. Other members include Minister of Finance and Coordination, Minister of the Economy, Wale Odun, Attorney General of the Federation, Justice Minister Fabemi, Minister of Budget Economic Planning. And they also said that the Akume-led panel's primary objectives are to ensure that local governments are granted full autonomy and allowing them to function effectively without interference from state governors.
Yes. Okay, so it's a working policy now. They're supposed to break down how this would then work, how it will be implemented. So I don't think it's really bad, as long as they do it within a short period of time. Yeah, Nima.
Okay, so the major headline, let me get his office. The Chief Financial Officer of the NNPCL, Umar Ajia, is explaining how government has been paying half of the landing cost of petrol. So he insists that, under this administration, especially in the past 7 months, there's been no subsidy paid. So to distinguish between subsidy scam and what government is paying, he says landing cost of petrol is 8,200 naira per litre. And they are making sure that the official pump price of it is 600 naira per litre. So the NNPCL has spent 7.8 trillion in the past 7 to 8 months to offset that difference, so that we are not caught in between the fluctuating prices of fuel across the world. So, some people will send videos and say that per litre is, if they convert the pounds to naira or the dollar to naira, is over 5,000 naira abroad. But to ensure that Nigerians are not in that confusion, we are not caught in that mix, the NNPCL and the federal government has what they call an arrangement. They said they call it a moderated arrangement. They're moderating the price of petrol by ensuring that they guarantee the stability of the cost of it by offsetting half of the cost of which petrol lands. It's still subsidy. When we go from, we come back, black is black. They change. That's what he's trying to explain. He says that this is for the sake of those who are calling it, that they're just offsetting the shortfall in landing price and sales price through what they call a reconciliation arrangement between them and the federal government. And they said that they have not paid any money to any marketer in the name of petrol subsidy in the last 8 to 9 years. That the official pump price of petrol is 600 naira, but the landing amount is 1,200 naira. But I can't read them. But,
they did not call it subsidy, but it's still subsidy. Moving on to the Punch. The more you look, the less you see. Major headline. NNPC reports 9.3 trillion naira petrol imports as queue lingers. In other news, 5 banks budget 222 billion naira for cyber security. 1 die as Ogu Hunter headers clash. 2027, APC kicks as PDP backs call for Jonathan's return. Producers decline sale of 460,000 barrels of crude to Dangote, others. Forex shortage, domestic airlines ground 42 aircraft. And Akume Edun lead LG autonomy implementation panel. In other news, APC hails appeal court. judgment affirming Shaibu's reinstatement as deputy governor. So, what story are we starting with? Are we starting with Shaibu as deputy governor?
No, I have a completely different story.
All right.
Just to give us some updates on the murder of a Kwara female student, which we heard a few days ago. Now we're hearing that the Kwara State Police Command has said that he has arrested some suspects in connection with the murder of a female student of the State College of Health. Her name is Mojisola Awesu. She was found dead in a refuse dump in Aleniboro, I beg your pardon, Aleniboro area of Ilori, the state capital. Now, according to the public relations officer, DSP Tonwo Ejire, he said that this 21-year-old was found dead after being contracted by her friend to act as a girlfriend for another private varsity student at a party for a sum of 15,000 naira. Now, he noted that her dead body was found by some laborers at a refuse dump in the area, and this prompted police operatives to visit the scene, recovered the body, and they discovered and identified this dead person as being Awesu, and they have, put her body at the morgue. Now, according to investigations, they found traces of blood near the left ear of the deceased, and a medical examination confirmed that she was indeed dead. This is a very sad story.
Really sad.
I have a daughter who's going off into university, and every day I say different kinds of prayers. It's important that our young people in this day and age, I feel like our young people take a lot of things with levity. They need to understand that the small choices that they're making on a daily basis can actually be life impacting. It can mean life or death. So it's very important that when you're in school as a student, you really just stay in school and focus.
The account of the story that she had been, someone had solicited her services as his assistant girlfriend and was willing to pay 15,000 naira for it. And, she's in a different school. She went, that several schools, 2 private universities had a party, and she
went all the way.
This is not what our parents said, go face what I send you go do,
I don't understand. Assistant girlfriend too.
Somebody wanted, claimed he had a party that he needed a girlfriend to attend that.
They rented her as a girlfriend and she died.
When she got to the hotel, she had sent messages to her
friend that something was amiss. She didn't feel quite comfortable and they couldn't reach her phone anymore, and that was
suddenly
so sad. Hopefully, proper justice will be served in one way or the other. I want to take the story of the clash between herders and hunters. So in the particular Iwoye-Ketu community in the Imekwa 4 local government area of Ogun State, on Monday, one of the hunters, they said one yet to be identified person dead. And this is because the community had noticed kidnapping taking place within their place by allegedly herders. And because of that, they brought in hunters to help them secure those areas. So the hunters in the area began a routine patrol of the community to ensure security. Then on Monday, suspected herders attacked the hunters and killed one of them. Then tension began in the community. All the shops and marketplaces were deserted. There's been a fracas and they don't know which. They don't want to be caught on either side. They said there was a kidnapping that took place. According to the papers, Fulani herdsmen collected the sum of 500,000 naira before releasing the victim. And last week, 2 siblings were kidnapped again. And abductors collected 1 million naira before releasing the siblings. That the kidnapping issue has led hunters to begin the patrol. And because of the tension that followed the death of one of the hunters, they have many of the communities have deserted. Everybody's locked up inside the house because they don't want to be caught in between. They said they reached out to the PRO for Ogun State, Omobola Odutola, and they said she wasn't available for comments as at the time they were filing this report. Anarchy is when citizens start taking law into their hands to protect themselves. When hunters start thinking that let us go into the bush, let us secure the environment before herders would kidnap people, that is what will happen. So we need the police to be on ground to protect lives and properties of people as much as possible. And that's what we can take for. Now we'll take a break. When we return, we'll continue with the front page review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars,
result. Let me go and look for my jam result. So
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
You be like person we don't forge.
at this point, I contest my jam result.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show, you for that long.
Ladies and gentlemen, number one, Unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number one on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now. His name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back?
You should start the gym to get fat.
Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference?
There's a difference.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make a relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too.
Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You see some what is his name?
That woman.
Bam! Bam! Yeah,
Today we'll go here.
Hey!
Let's get talking.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good. Pure entertainment.
Hey, my people! I greet you plenty.
My name is Nachika Okeke.
My name na Uwi Balogun.
My name is Damilola Banire.
My name na Moyo Faraway Ahmed. If you also call me Moyo, listen. And this na Abigail. And I dare on top your view pigeon. I'm going to bring you bass, boost.
I don't get person will be single mother before. He carry another man show say now my husband be this.
This na wetin you want.
After that day, the man
You no go see am again.
If you snooze, you lose. If you miss this show, you miss out. On top this our show, I not dey gree for anybody.
When you dey friend the husband, you not see sign say the guy smart, you don't vex.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. We're still doing the front page review and we're moving on to the list on. Oh, no, before we move on, you need to give us the drama of what is happening in Edo State.
That's it. That's it. So I must commend the former, the appeal court has affirmed the reinstatement of Philip Shaibu as the deputy governor of Edo State. So right now, I will say the deputy governor of Edo State, who did not say that their term was running out, but went to court to enforce his rights. So, you know, they had done an impeachment in Edo State where he was removed sometime around April. And the impeachment, according to the High Court under Justice Omotosho, did not follow due process. And so the court ordered his reinstatement. But you saw the governor said they have put a state to execution. They have killed all those big grammar. Even though I'm a lawyer, let me just pretend I don't understand it. You know, so he had gone again to the appeal court to, you know, to reinforce that judgment from the High Court, and the appeal court reaffirmed that he is still the substantive governor, deputy governor of Edo State. So I'm wondering,
are they going to go to Supreme Court?
Because you know that the governor will soon need these courts. This is our governor that say will not respect the courts and the judgments, will come around to need the courts. Even this Bible today, you always come around to need the courts. So now that you are not enforcing it, we will remind you when you need the judgment of the court and you come and call the court names, we will remind you that you yourself were abusive of the courts. But you know, congratulations to Philip Shaibu. His doggedness and resilience has proven well, and I like the fact that he enforced this right. If he didn't, he will lose everything. Blame nobody.
You must fight for justice.
Can set a dangerous precedent.
Yeah. Moving on to Daily Sun. Major headline: terrorism allegation. NLC president gives police August 29 appointment. Union set for strike. Ajero to honor the invitation. Catholic bishops meet over state of the nation. Others, Wike's exit needed for PDP survival, Clark tells acting chairman. Enugu government to pull down property used for kidnapping in Enugu State. Federal allocation, FAC revenue faces decline as NNPCL redirects 3.4 trillion naira in remittance to fuel subsidy. Now we are another paper is giving it the right name, according to them. Abia records 13 suspected cases of monkeypox. Open treatment center. Federal government set up a 10-man panel. We've taken that story already. And no deal with headsmen. Southeast Monarch insists. So what are we starting with?
Okay, so I have Enugu State government to soon start the demolition of properties and structures, whether private properties, business properties, as far as they are used for kidnapping purposes, they are coming down. Yes. The government, the government source exclusively revealed to Daily Sun that the move is in continuation of the determined effort of this Peter Mbah's administration to curb and eradicate crime and criminality within the state. The Enugu State House of Assembly had in November 2026 amended the criminal code law of Enugu State, which was subsequently signed into law by the former governor, Chief Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, on January 2017. But that particular amendment had not been implemented within the state, which is actually Section 315 of the Criminal Code, Second Amendment Law, Cap 30 Law of Enugu State. Somehow, since 2017, they've not done that. They've not, used that law. But now, this current administration, they are not shying away from doing that. So the law states that they will either demolish the building, and then the buildings can be forfeited by the states. And then the security agents of the state are saying now that they've tried to eradicate the criminal cells and kidnapping cells within the state, especially the one that they do now, where they use in the city, where the one that they use Sienna cars and pose as security agents. Then as if they're arrested, they now act as if they are police people arresting you. Then you will now feel like, okay, we're going to the station. You won't know that they are kidnapping you. So you won't shout, you won't raise alarm. They just tell you when we get to the station. They've eradicated that style, I mean. Yes, when we get to the station, you can now call your people. But by the time you get there, they've kidnapped you. But now they said they've totally eradicated that within the state. So kudos to that.
I think it's also the demolition threat might work for rented houses that are being used, because if you are a landlord and you see that there is no proper, like the person renting the house is not officially doing anything and people are just inside that place, you would know that if they catch kidnapping in my house, I will forfeit the house, so you take responsibility. Moving on to, you have a story.
Yeah, I have a story still on the topic of demolitions, but this is another angle. This is a report that was actually launched by Hip City Innovation, saying that Nigeria accounts for 20 million housing deficit. Wow. So this is something that is really alarming, and the numbers continue to increase. So following the spate of demolitions in the country, which we continue to witness, especially in the FCT and even here in Lagos, a report, according to Hip City Innovation Center, has claimed that Nigeria is still in need of 20 million housing units to bridge the deficit. And so it is now encouraging and recommending that eviction and demolition should be the last resort of government if temporary accommodations will not be provided for the victims. Now, according to reports in Abuja as of yesterday, the numbers of houses that have been demolished are over 1,000, and even across the country. The low cost of housing units is pegged at 39 million naira by the federal government, and this is out of the reach of ordinary civil servants. He says, and I quote, "We have about 20 million housing deficits in Nigeria, and for every house that we demolish, it means we are sending more Nigerians into hopelessness, destitution, and displacement." There are two sides to this coin. On the one hand, sometimes it can seem as if government is being insensitive when the environmental agencies embark on these demolitions. But on the flip side, we know that Lagos, for instance, taking Lagos as a case study, Lagos has to work. According to reports, in 2050, if we do not do the right thing right now, we're already behind schedule. Yes, but we're going to go undersea. And
you're going to be swimming in Lagos.
There will be no Lagos, literally. So it's important that we do the right thing now. I mean, at great cost. Great cost to homeowners, property owners, but the right thing has to be done. If your properties are clogging waterways, you have to go down. And I really want to implore government agencies, I know that they are understaffed for the most part, to actually ensure that these agencies that are in charge of going to sites to ensure that buildings that are illegal do not even they don't even see foundation level in the first place. Just so we can be more proactive in our approach to
all right. So moving on to Nigerian Tribune, major headline, the police versus Ajero. This is going to be a showdown According to the NLC, 54 affiliate unions threaten mass action if, according to the papers. In other news, 21-year-old graduate contracted to act as girlfriend killed by ritualist in Kwara. Very sad story. We're taking it. Lucky community family gives Lagos government 30-day ultimatum over land acquisition. Who has that story? And
that story.
5 years after trial, AGF has no record of ex-CJN Onoge's Code of Conduct trial case file. What story are we starting with?
Okay, so let's start with the communities. So the communities and families, because this is not fair. Communities and families in Lekki have given the Lagos State government 30-day ultimatum to resolve the dispute and controversy surrounding the compulsory acquisition of their land upon which the free trade zone was built. This is a long time. The communities, which comprise of Eto, Idaso, Idotun, and Falade family, according to their council, Latunji Abayomi, alleged the failure of the state government to compensate landowners from the monies received from the compulsory acquisition of their land, properly settle the communities and keep the agreement it entered into, which is a 2007 Memorandum of Understanding with the communities. This is a long time coming. And what they are actually asking for, is not a lot, because they want to, they're asking for the human, they're asking for that the interest and welfare of the members of the villages and communities should be properly taken care of and protected. The submission of environmental impact assessment study to the villages and communities for their review and comments, because they should be part of it. This is their community. Do you understand? And in particular, they should ensure that the execution of the Lagos Free Trade Zone social impact assessment study for the benefit of the villages and communities are granted. And then that they also should sit on the boards of the LWIL, which is the Lekki Worldwide Investment Limited. They are not asking for too much, but then you cannot take somebody's land since 2007. This is 2014,
and not
compensate them
properly.
Sorry, 2024, and not that's like
and
why
is
now?
you claim that the reason why you're actually taking this government owns lands in Lagos, we know, but you're taking this land because you want
Not
to
only
situate
Lagos,
infrastructure. Yes, you want infrastructure. So the environmental assessment reports that we need to say, okay, what areas will be affected? How do we synergize between ensuring that we can be proactive?
The major.
But they still need to fund, they still need to do a whole lot of things.
The government's overriding interest for the good of the people should actually be for the good of the people. And the people who are going to suffer the loss should be compensated while that is happening. Moving on to our final paper for today, Vanguard. The police has invited Ajero. Nima, I was so sure you were going to take this NLC story. You just didn't film, but you went for the dramatic Edo State story.
No,
I'm watching
you know the arrangements we have. Casting me on self.
In other news, police again failed to arrest protesters, says activist Adeyonju. Cost of governance will be cut by, will cut 10 billion from COP29 expenses. That's from the presidency. Right of way also threatens Nigeria's telcos 3 years on the throne. The hardest lessons I've learned. Olu of Worry. I'd love to read that article. PFN to Tinubu. Nigerians are hungry, hasten renewed hope agenda. So what are we?
Let me just take the Ajero story. So the NLC is, threatening fire and brimstone. We will not be silenced over mass suffering in Nigeria. Direct workers to shut down economy if Ajero is arrested. Now, according to the report, the NLC boss, Joe Ajero, was invited. He had got an invitation by the police to answer on allegations of criminal conspiracy, terrorism, financing, treasonable felony, subversion, and cybercrime. But the labor movement yesterday has said that it would not be silenced by sponsored harassment, intimidation, attacks, and persecution. The NLC says that it is committed, it remains committed to its opposition to mass suffering and hunger, which is occasioned by the anti-people policies of the federal government, saying that some interest groups are doing everything possible to silence the current leadership of the Congress. It has called on its affiliates to shut down the economy if Ajero is actually arrested by the police. I know that he was given this invitation. He says he will show up on Wednesday.
That's today now.
That's today now.
We'll wait and see. Please, let's not shut down the economy yet. Nigerians are hungry. Thank you. We'll take a quick break now. When we return, we'll continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome the Grand Comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Benga Daika, the first. OJ right here, 7 of 7, like you already know.
Benga right here, 7 of 7, like I'm beginning to know.
It's now time for the question.
You don't scare me one bit. Bata, I go drink. So.
Okay. So now one chance for enter. My first question. Do you remember the names of the winners of that edition of StarQuest?
Of course I do.
Why do you?
And I hate myself for this. Because I have this question for you. Final question. No. Where outside Nigeria and what year? I think you're the only one that can be wicked.
I am thinking because I know back in the day.
Don't think. Answer my question quick. You are thinking too much. I don't like it.
The UK.
Final answer. Okay. I said, God, please, let me to perform outside Nigeria.
Wait.
And God gave me a show in Ghana. Drink, my friend, drink. I don't
overthink this thing. See where I can.
Yes, you overthink them.
I would say you should catwalk.
Let's catwalk. Where are we?
No, that's not catwalking.
That's good walking.
Hello, Niger.
The time is right because the prize is right here. Be a part of our turbocharged studio audience for a chance to win amazing and mouth-watering prizes on The Price is Right. Visit www.thepriceisright.ng or The Price is Right on social media for more details on how to participate.
Registration is open to all Nigerians 18 years and above. Come on down, Niger.
It's about time.
The Price is Right is proudly brought to you by Smart Cash powered by Airtel.
Thanks for staying with us. Joining us to discuss the pivotal role of digital platforms in building trust within Nigeria's home system, industry, creating employment opportunities and enhancing convenience for customers, connecting skilled artisans is Workman, right?
Correct.
Workman's founder and CEO, Mr. Tunde Ebohon.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome to the show. It's good to have you. So, this is interesting. I would like you to give us, tell us briefly about yourself and how Workman became an idea that you're implementing right now.
Yes, my name is Tunde Ebohon. I'm the founder of Workman. And Workman was founded on the premise that in Nigeria, there has been a very difficult time for people to find good artisans and skilled artisans who can actually come in and do your work when you need them. It was actually founded, the idea came to me in 2018 when I traveled to Benin with my family, and we were stranded in the middle of the road. And we could not find anyone to help us.
Wow.
But we had a phone, and I was thinking, why can't we find someone to help us using a phone in this age of technology? And that's when the idea started, founded the idea. And then COVID hit. And during COVID, it was, well, I'm at home, why not do this? So, and that's how the journey began.
Oh, okay.
All right, so from that time onwards up until this very moment, what would you say is the perception first and the acceptance of employing or embracing digital platforms to actually, make life easier and better, create seamless processes for home services when you need artisans, when you need vendors? What is the reaction? What has been the reaction for the largest part in terms of acceptance?
Oh, people have been very open to it. They are adopting it. And we've grown from 0 to 40,000 users on the platform.
Wow.
And we've grown from 0 to over 100 people that are using it on a daily basis.
Wow.
And we're growing rapidly, and people are seeing the benefit. And they're adopting it. And people know how difficult, especially in this economy, why would you want to waste your money on an artisan that will take your money away when you can have someone to take account for that money? So we're sort of like the one bridging the gap between those artisans and users like us.
Okay. So because you mentioned bridging the gap now, how would you say artisans are responding? Some people will think there's a cut that your management fee would cost them. So they might not subscribe. But how do you see them? Is it encouraging how they're subscribing? Are they really, really open to subscribing?
We don't have any problems getting artisans. The artisans are very open because they know we're fair. So initially, they were not so sure, they were not so trusting. But as they come in, and the ones that have engaged us, they've seen the impact of what we're doing for them, because we're sort of like the ones giving them a platform, whereby on a normal basis, the only people that knows who they are the people living around them. But now you have somebody 10, 15 kilometers away that can actually reach out to them and call them, and they can do the job, and they can showcase their skills. So they don't have any issue. And many of them who are engaged with us, they are very, very happy.
Okay, so how does the Workman app work? The app, how does it work? And also, what are the feedback so far from users since it went live in Nigeria?
So, yes, the feedback has been great. On the App Store, we have over 4.5 ratings. So we have lots of users are very happy, the ones that have engaged us. In terms of how it's going in Nigeria, was that your question?
Exactly.
It's been great. And what we're trying to also do is there is a lot of Nigerians in the diaspora who have properties in Nigeria. And this is an app they can use to get qualified professionals to maintain their properties. So those are also part of the people that we are catering to.
But how does the app work also?
So the app is pretty much, think about Uber, but for artisans. So you pretty much pick it up, you download it, you register. As soon as you register, it automatically would get your location where you are. And if you feel like you need a service at a different location, let's say somebody with multiple homes, they need to go to a different location. You just change your location, and it will show you all the artisans in that location you are, the closest one to you. So you can choose whoever you want. You can review their ratings. You can see the photos of the job they've done. You can see what other people have said about them. And you can then go ahead. Once you make a request, you can start to communicate with us. And the good thing is we are in the middle of the process.
Okay.
We monitor the process from start to finish. You do not have to pay any artisan directly because we hold them to account. So no one will come and collect your money and say, and not deliver the work.
Okay, so obviously there is a huge gap in the area of job creation in the country, and I'd like to ask you how you see this Workman app bridging the gap between unemployment in Nigeria.
That's one of our primary goal and benefits to Workman, because right now we know how difficult things are. And you were asking about providers embracing us. Many of them come around and they basically thank us for giving them this opportunity where they can actually get jobs, because people don't discover who they are. And people are all over the place looking for the right type of providers. And this provider, basically, we give them a pedestal and everybody can see them. And then we have providers who don't do anything else but only
work on the app,
Workman, because they are that busy.
Wow.
Right. So I wanted to ask, just because I'm thinking about the artisans now, for instance, sometimes the issue that we have is not really about finding, artisans within reach. when we need them sometimes. It's about finding artisans who are really competent, who can do the job and execute flawlessly. So I wanted to ask, does your company invest in, for instance, enhancing competence and training for some of these artisans so that, for instance, for the generator repairer who is on my street, who probably doesn't use the phone that browses, how would he in the first place even get in contact or be able to, how would you facilitate his onboarding on the app? So do you also invest in training artisans so that they can actually deliver service at a higher, more exceptional level? Yes.
So we don't train them at this time, but that's one of our future plans. We're planning on opening up what they call Workman Academy. And in Workman Academy, we can onboard providers and train them properly. But at this time, what we are doing is we're basically, we take them on, we get endorsers who have seen their work and they know that, okay, this guy has done work for me. And what we typically do is when a job comes in, we look at the platform and say, okay, these are the people that have done this job before, and these are the people that can actually implement. And those are the people that are presented to the client. And what we then do is we know that depending on his level of skill, and we know looking at how much the client is looking to spend, we just don't send anyone to the client. We make sure that
provide a match.
The right person is going for that job.
Okay, something recently happened where, you know, some agencies who vet staff will send house helps, you know, artisans to people, and they will have a crime at the end of it to become a subject of investigation. We have the Ajumogobia's daughter recently, several others had one caterer story. Have you had any such experience as a, you know, as an agency? Or how do you even vet? Do you have a partnership with the police? How do you vet the people listed under your service?
So for any artisan to come onto our platform, there are several criteria that you need to have. First of all, we need to know what your NIN is. We have to get your BVN. We make you give us some endorsers. And what we do, because at the end of the day, there is a company that we've also engaged who is also starting to help us with this process. The good thing about the platform is because we are involved, and for every artisan that is on the platform, if you open up the app, you can see the location of the artisan. So at every point, we know where the artisan is. And when they are on their way to the client's house, we know. When they are leaving the client's house, we know. So they are tracked every step of the way. So it's not like they just show up and we don't know what is going on.
So what are the future expansion plans for Workman?
Nigeria. To cover the country, and we're looking to go into Ghana, Kenya, and the United States.
But I wanted to find out, what are the categories of the artisans you have available, the ones you've currently onboarded? What are the range of the skill sets that the services being provided?
The normal ones that you would normally know: plumbers, electricians, carpenters. We have washing machine techs. We have TV techs. We have refrigeration. We have freezer. We have some dispatch riders. We have. You have to just download the app and check it out. There is a whole slew of services that we offer.
Okay. And do you have them location-based? So, for instance, like you have all your artisans at a particular location and they have to travel? No. But you can pick them from wherever, proximity.
You get as many. Lagos is pretty well covered. We are in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt. We're now starting to go into Ibadan, Owerri, and I believe Enugu.
Okay.
Interesting. Is there any other information you'd like the audience to know? Maybe if somebody is watching and wants to download the app as an artisan or even as a user of the app?
That they should just look at it, and if you want the peace of mind of getting your job done, then Workman is the way to go. You can't go wrong with it.
All right, so the website is right there on the screen. For those who are interested, could just munch that or take a picture and visit the website to get how to download. Is it available on both iOS?
www.workmanapp.com.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us and enlightening us on this and doing what you can to bridge the unemployment gap. That's all we can take on this segment. We will take a short break. When we return, we continue with the show. Please stay with us. Be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Everyone, open your ears, make we. Hey, my people, I greet you plenty.
My name is Nachika Okeke.
My name na Uwi Balogun.
My name na Damilola Banire.
My name na Moyo Faraway Ahmed. If you also call me Moyo, listen. And this na Abigail. And I dare on top of your view pigeon. I'm going to bring you bass, boost.
I don't get person will be single mother before. He carry another man show say now my husband be this.
This na wetin you want.
After that day, the man
no go see am again.
If you snooze, you lose. If you miss this show, you miss out. On top this our show, I not dey gree for anybody.
When you dey find the husband, you not see sign say the guy smart, you don't vex, don't give signs.
If they look for person, we go give them to you. Fact as it be.
Men no they ever get forced. If baby not there for her, na the woman.
Talk no dey be person, you make person no fit talk true inside. But for this country, we not say if we open court in the morning, waiting no good, no good.
Me and my sisters, hey, we go tanda gidigba for inside studio to give una all the latest information.
We not even take responsibility for the children. Leave the man.
And that's some poria.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regulars.
So let me go and look for my jam results. So
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
You be like person with no fortune.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show, you for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, number one, Unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number one on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now. His name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back?
You should start the gym though, you're getting fat.
Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer,
you're already almost naked.
You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the better? You scissors. What is his name?
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Today we'll go here.
Hey.
Hello, Niger. The time is.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Joining us in our second sponsored segment is the chairman of Erudite Group. He's joining us to give us more about what he's doing at Erudite. He is Chief Sahid Oladele. He is the youngest chief of the largest city in Africa. That's how he introduced himself when he came into the studio today. So I said I was going to give it to you like that. We're excited to have you join us today once again. You've been on the show before, so you're not a stranger. Between the last time you were here on the show and then you were not a chief. Now you are Baameko of Ibadan land, a whole Ibadan. What does the title mean and how did it happen?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here once again this morning after almost a year that I've been on the show. The title Baameko means father of all educationists from Ibadan or in Ibadan. That's to do with education. So, and I became the Baameko of Ibadan land after our school, Erudite Millennium Limited, set a world record last year when all the students we produced for Cambridge A-level, when we produced 100% success in Cambridge A-level. So that news broke out, and then the Oluban of Ibadan land, or Balik and Balogun, got to know about it, and I got invited to the palace, and they said, oh, I'm really impressed. I would like to make you a chief. Would you like to accept it? I said, yes, sir. And that was what led to the installation of the first bar maker of Ibadan land. We set a world record in Cambridge A-level, and that world record was the fact that we did the preparation within 4 to 6 months. That happened to be the world's shortest time. Anybody can claim to have 100% success, but you couldn't have done it shorter than what we did. And that was what led to the title.
So like you said, Erudite Millennium is known for Cambridge A-levels, SAT, and other international examinations. So what prompted you? What made you start a secondary school?
Well, thank you very much. A lot of people have been asking us to extend our services to secondary school, claiming that they have GS1, especially people abroad. So they have always told us that their children, they don't teach them proper mathematics as we do in Nigeria. They only do algebra and related subjects and so on. So last year we decided to hit their call, and we started the Erudite Model High School last year. So we started the secondary school because people were calling for it.
Interesting. All right, so I wanted to ask, what sets this Erudite Model High School, what sets it apart in a distinctive league of its own?
Okay, thank you very much. There are about 5 different things that set Erudite Model High School apart from others. Number 1 is reasoning-based education. We all know, as we discussed last year, that Nigeria is fond of la crème, la peur, la forgette. So, but moving away, this is a shift from that. So we need to build the reasoning of the future leaders of this country. So enough of just cramming to pass, and once you pass, you forget what you have been taught in school. So the Erudite Model High School is a reasoning-based education. It's reasoning-based education, that's number 1. Number 2 is the fact that it promotes what we call polyglottism. Polyglottism has to do with ability to speak more than one language. So we are promoting at least 2 international languages. Before you leave secondary school, you must have 2 international languages on your CV. That is number 2. Number 3 is what we call life skill building. So these students build life skills, because a lot of people today, they only know what they are taught in school. They cannot handle anything else. Number 4 is self-reliance. We are grooming them to be self-reliant, because that is what the world is saying. Our government cannot employ everybody. Even the private sector cannot employ everybody. That simply means that we need to promote the culture of self-reliance. These are the things that are unique about the school.
Okay. So there's this term that your school made popular in Nigeria, the 4IR.
Yes.
And, what categories of Nigerians need it and why? And as a school that is following the trend of education in the world, what should Nigerians expect from 4IR?
Well, thank you very much. The term 4IR, when we started it, it became popular. 4IR simply means Fourth Industrial Revolution Program. And this is how we do our 4IR. We want you to build some tech skills. Whether you are a doctor, you are an engineer, you are a nurse, everybody deserves some knowledge, some dosage of technology or tech skills. And that's why we are telling parents that no matter what your child wants to become, let them have some tech skills so that they will be relevant to the 21st century. So within the Fourth Industrial Revolution program at Erudite Millennium Limited, they learn what we call web design, web development, not the HTML5, CSS that is common. They take it further to JavaScript. They also learn Python programming, and they also learn UI UX. A lot of graduates are rushing that UI UX. So these are the 3 basic things they will learn under the 4IR. And then, as you just rightly asked, what are we doing next? We are moving away from 4IR. We are moving to 5IR. What does 5IR mean? 5IR means Fifth Industrial Revolution Program. 5IR is just a word. So it talks about a world where everything becomes easy, either at work or at home, through the use of technology, especially AI and robotics. So like using robots where human beings are functioning and so on. And that is where we are going next. Our students usually build a lot of things. We are not after certificate because certifications are no longer selling around the world. It's about what you can do. So if you do 4IR in our school, it's about what you have produced, what you have done. For example, within the 3 months, our students build different applications, they build websites. Imagine somebody is applying for full scholarship in your school, and that person is now referring you to his own website. And when you get to the website, you have seen a lot of things that students...
I've already done.
Honestly, thank you for drinking that water, because I was going to ask you about this scholarship matter. Yes, because there is an assumption, or rather, most of us believe that for undergraduates, especially Nigerians, that for undergraduates you can't get full scholarship. But it's seeming like you people are able to achieve it. And many Nigerians now who wanted their kids to study abroad cannot afford it based on the current Naira to dollar thing. So the idea of a full scholarship as an undergrad looks very interesting to them. How does your school achieve full scholarship for undergraduate degree?
Okay, thank you very much. In our school, what a lot of people are not getting is the fact that the world has moved beyond where we are in this country. In the past, once your child passed SAT, that is SAT, so you can rest assured that your child will get a scholarship. But right now, even if you score 1.6 over 1.6, you will still not be able to get some scholarships because the criteria have changed. So what are the things they are looking for? For example, they are looking for a record, an outstanding record. What sets your child apart from others? What outstanding thing does your child have? You know, during COVID-19, there was no SAT, there was no TOEFL, there was no IELTS. So, partly some people are because then you could take these exams at home. But like SAT, no SAT, there are many universities in the US became test optional. So you may not bring your test scores, but we want to assess who you are to give you scholarship. So it's about the outstanding qualities that you have had. And the outstanding qualities start from the kind of secondary school that your child attends. So for example, now if everything is just about grooming them to pass WAEC. So grooming them to pass, white people are very smart. They know that anything can go wrong with WAEC or any exam that is done over a given period of time. So they want to study the performances of the students. They want to know how involved are they in community service and so on. I'm already letting the cat out of the bag.
All right.
You still have something you want to say?
Yes. I want to sign us out of TVC News. We are going to be taking a break from TVC News right now. There's going to be a media parley being hosted by the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, and our program would continue on TVC Entertainment as well as on YouTube. So if you have GOTV, you can join us on channel 16 or StarTimes channel 121 or Play TV 800. All our social media platforms will be streaming this show, but we are going off TVC News right now. Just wanted to put that out there. So you were breaking down some things. Please continue.
It starts from the kind of secondary school you attend. If your secondary school is a 21st century compliant school, you stand a lot of chance. Let me give you an example. In our own model high school, erudite model high school now, we have structured everything in a way that if your child enters JS1, so your child will be writing Becker in JS2. Then in JS3, your child will be learning either French and German, or maybe German and Spanish. At least there must be 2 international languages. Because we believe that the Nigerian curriculum is kind of so stretched. So, and there are some better things that can be accommodated within the curriculum. That is why we compressed JS1 to 2-3 to JS1 and 2. Your child will write Becker. Then we now focus on the international languages. All the very good Muslims out there who want their children to memorize the Quran and learn Arabic, so that can be achieved within our JS3. So once your child leaves JSS3, our own SS1 is IGCSE curriculum. Why are we doing that? We want your children to have a reasoning background before transitioning to WAEC. So our own WAEC class starts from SS2. So SS2, SS3, that simply means that all the topics that will be done in WAEC, your child would have done it in IGCSE. Then having an advantage of learning the same topic through two different curricula. One is reasoning based, the other one is, I don't want to say it. You understand? So that you not say, so they won't say I'm talking back or I'm talking down on my own. So after doing that, once your child sits WASC, so then we are moving to the gap year. But in between, from SS1 to SS3, for example, during the holiday, like there's 1 week for creative writing, so that we teach your child how to write, how to become a published writer. That's number right from that tender age. So then second term holiday, we are moving to content writing and copywriting. When you have an idea you want to sell to the world, how do you write it in a very interesting manner? Then after that, we move to all this digital marketing, problem-solving skills.
Inside secondary school?
Yes, public speaking and communicating for impact.
Things that we're all paying for during the holiday.
So during the holiday, like if you have 3 weeks holiday, your child is going to spend 1 week in school, 2 weeks at home, or 2 weeks in school, 1 week at home. There is no time to play.
Yes.
So this generation must be engaged. If they are not engaged,
social media and be TikToking
their mind is distracted.
So if they are not engaged, they spend their time on some worthless thing. And that is why our school is an all-encompassing thing. And also, that's not only that. Our Monday to Friday, you know, I didn't talk about what we do from Monday to Friday. We have a robotic laboratory. So you will see what your children will be building in terms of robots. So that is part of the task from Monday to Friday. But Saturday and Sunday, we basically do sports, community service, and we have what we call Olympiad training, preparing them to represent the country for Olympiad and some international competitions.
Wow. This is a full-packed school, and wow. So Erudite School now, we know that it's located in Ibadan. And, you know, with all these benefits that you've talked about, I'm sure so many parents from Lagos, other places, Lagos, Abuja, Enugu, Owerri, they want to key into this. They want to send their kids there. So due to the distance now, how can they do that? How can they contact the people? How can they send their kids to this school?
Thank you very much. The distance has never been a barrier because we are seated in Ibadan, because the founder is passionate about developing Ibadan. A lot of people have called us to Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Abuja, but we love our Ibadan like that. So people have been coming to the school from different parts of the world. And as I speak, the population of students from Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt beats the population of those who came from Ibadan, despite that the school is resident in Ibadan. So, and most of our students come from the US and some other countries around the world. So the distance is not a barrier if you are in Lagos. And let me also say this, we do not take day students. All the successes we have been talking about, setting a world record in Cambridge, building this and this and that, is because we can manage their time the way we want.
Okay, how safe is it for you?
No, the safety has never been in question
because
we are as one parent put it abroad. The person said Bodija is a low-risk area. So we have been there for years and there's never been...
Yes, but even though
I'm not talking external issues.
No, this is a very strict school.
They don't play.
No. If your child is a spoiled brat, by the time he or she comes to the school, you are going to see the difference.
Wow.
So we don't allow them to move out of the gate. We don't allow them to do a lot of things.
Thank you so
it's
much.
Like a regimented kind of lifestyle.
Definitely.
And that is why we are achieving everything we are achieving.
People who are interested, I don't know any parents who won't be interested, but if people who are interested in getting to know more about Erudite, just Google Erudite, you will not miss your way. You will find out.
I hope our phone numbers are already on the before you go. I'm
not sure phone number, but they can, if they just put Erudite group.
They should not just put Erudite, they put our phone numbers there.
All right, that's all we can take on this segment. So I'm sure they put it earlier. We'll take a quick break now. When we return from the break, we'll continue with the show. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
The new Milo 3-in-1 Milky and Creamy is true.
Hello, Niger. The time is right because the prize is right here. Be a part of our turbocharged studio audience for a chance to win amazing and mouth-watering prizes on The Price is Right. Visit www.thepriceisright.ng or The Price is Right on social media for more details on how to participate.
Registration is open to all Nigerians 18 years and above. Come on down, Niger.
It's about time.
The Price is Right is proudly brought to you by Smart Cash powered by Airtel. Hey, my people, I greet you plenty.
My name na Chika Okeke. My name na Uwi Balogun.
My name na Damilola Banire.
My name na Moyo Faraway Ahmed. If you also call me Moyo, listen. And this na Abigail. And I dare on top of you, pigeon. I'm going to bring you bass, boost.
I don't get person will be single mother before. He carry another man show say now my husband be this.
This na wetin you want.
After that day, the man
no go see am again.
If you snooze, you lose. If you miss this show, you miss out. On top this our show, I not dey gree for anybody.
When you dey find the husband, you not see sign say the guy smart, you don't vex, don't give signs.
If they look for person, we go give them to you. Fact as it be.
Men no dey ever get fault. If baby not dey for her, na the woman.
Talk no dey be person, you make person no fit talk true inside. But for this country, we not say if we open court in the morning, waiting no good, no good.
Me and my sisters, hey, we go tanda gidigba for inside studio to give una all the latest information.
We no even take responsibility for the children. Leave the man.
And that's some poria.
Global Entrepreneurship Festival to be hosted at the Entrepreneurship Village in Nigeria, November 22nd to the 24th. Join world leaders, heads of state, diplomats, ministers, governors, investors, policymakers, tech leaders, organizations.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Joining us now to discuss, or rather to address many of the problems within our educational system that, all through the show I've been discussing education anyway. So there are some problems facing our educational system and we're going to be discussing it. How the standard has fallen over the years, how our graduates are becoming fast unemployable. Many parents or guardians prefer to seek foreign education for their children and wards, and why government institutions are no longer attractive. Joining us for this conversation is Mr. Alex Onya, the founder of Educare, one of the top educational platforms in Africa. He will be discussing our curriculum, what is wrong with our curriculum, could we have a funding problem, or is it the infrastructural deficit? These and much more we will be discussing with him. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much.
We're excited to have you.
Alex Onya.
Onya. Alex Onya. Thank you. See, there are many issues. You see, the last guest just dissed the curriculum, it dissed our educational system, say la cram la. We're not really, and I think it was on Monday, we also on the show discussed the fact that a lot of Nigerian graduates are unemployable. And then we have the fact that even ASU are threatening to go on strike right now, saying the government hasn't fulfilled its obligations. So where are we even going to? Where would you like to start from? Would you want to start from the primary school, secondary school, or university to start addressing the problems that we have seen in this educational sector? Just before you start answering, let me invite our callers to join the conversation. You can call us on 0810-764-1679, or you can call us on 090-241-63440. Tweet to us. We'd love to get your information on X, or you can join our streaming and comment on YouTube right away. So, where would you like to start to?
Okay, firstly, I would like to say that you guys
Thank you so much.
So, when we talk about education for a country, I think the first focus is actually on basic education.
Okay.
And when you talk about basic education, you talk about the early years, that's the primary, and then the end of junior secondary.
Oh, okay.
So now, if what's the purpose of education? Education basically is to be able to prepare the people for the society, to prepare the people so that they can actually grow and then advance and do more critical things. Senior secondary starts from specialization and research. So when you want to fix education, you don't focus on senior secondary and the university. You start from focusing on the basic education, because the truth of the matter is that any child that has quality basic education has already been prepared for the future. Right. And that's when you see the society start getting fixed. But it's a situation whereby you look at the horrible nature of the nursery schools, the primary schools, and there's zero attention to them, then you can already start detecting core decay in the system. So what do we need to do? Firstly, you can't actually fix something that you are not paying attention to. So our education system needs a lot of attention and care. And you see the schools, I mean, before we talk about the advancements in terms of AI, we need to, I mean, the children need toilets. The roofs are leaking. The environment, there are snakes, there are grasses that are not being cut. The teachers are poorly treated. So how do we attend to these people, right? These things are fundamental things that we must do. Then we talk about the curriculum. Currently, we use the role learning approach. So the role learning approach means, like we say, la cram, la pour, la forget. So children are, and you know, that's the reason why we have a lot of churches, but the society is still in decay. So the reason is that people's spirituality are being determined by how much they can quote scriptures, not by how much of what they learn transforms their lives. So you see, bright students are people who can cram a lot of things and pour a lot of things and forget a lot of things. But now, and any country that you see that practices role learning at this age never makes any form of advancement. So look at people that advances. That's what they call critical thinking, problem solving. So whereby children are, I mean, for instance, if you've ever seen like an IGCSE exam compared to a WAEC exam, WAEC will ask you, what are the synonyms of this? IG will never ask you that. IG assumes that this is something you should know. So they will ask you questions that will make you put that synonym into context. You understand? So these are the things that shape. So, and when they ask you questions, they want to ask you about, let's say, forest. They will just like give you like a picture of a forest. Then the way they will ask you questions means that you must really understand how forests work for you to actually answer that question. And you see the assessment, no two persons have the same answer.
All right, so now my question is, just from everything that you've said, how can we then begin to make a very practical yet integrated switch into ensuring that the status quo that currently exists in the educational sector, whether from primary levels, like you have said, how can we start to rehash or restructure our educational system such that we make that fine switch, seamless switch into systems, a different system of learning that ensures that students can think, can rationalize, can reason, employ creativity, all of these things that are very necessary in today's market to help them succeed. How can we start to incorporate some of these elements into already existing structures so that we can have a seamless blend? Or do you think we need to completely overhaul what we currently have on ground?
I think before we take any step, to educate the people who are going to fund it or actually going to advance it. Because, you know, for instance, a father who was flogged believed that a child should be flogged. So what happens is that we need to educate the people in power. They need to now understand truly that things have changed. If only when they now understand and believe it, that's when they can now advance things. Sure. If you want to attack things from the surface, you will probably never get any meaningful result. So for me, I think that's the foundational thing that we need to do. By the time that is done and they truly buy in, then a lot of things can follow suit.
Okay, so like in a situation with what's in the educational system, it's obvious that parents are preferring to send their kids to foreign schools. But then we also know that there's a problem in terms of monitoring, that the kids don't get that monitoring and support from the parents when they need it because they are not really present. So how do you think that they can cope that by increasing our own level of educational system in order for parents to be present while during the formative years of their kids' life, because they feel that they can't get this here and then they tend to go abroad? How can we bridge that gap?
So the truth of the matter is that Nigeria has a lot of amazing private schools, a lot of them. So ideally, it's not recommended to send your child abroad, probably. Sure, the best time to send your child abroad is probably during masters. You understand? But I mean, at the base level, I mean, during the university stage, right? So at the early stage, it's always good to stay with your child, be with your child, give the child your proper DNA.
That is, it supports day students more than boarding house.
No, I mean, the truth of the matter is that whether day, whether boarding, I mean, both of them are actually good. So it just depends on the one you choose. But the point is that the children are actually not right because there's what they call societal shock. So when you go so early, or at some point, you see that children are failing in rapes in the US and the UK, not because they are not brilliant, but because they don't understand how things work. So they take like 1 year or 2 years and then things are moving. So you see that, and once you start failing, you already start failing. The school will just write to you, I think you're advised to withdraw. So, but that's why most of the time you see them, they must go through like an IB program or A-level. Those things helps them. That's why if you want to do A-level, they recommend you do it in the country that you want to school in. So that's
I understand you now. The abroad one
that
you're against because you think the kids should be closer home. But if a child was in boarding school in Nigeria, it's still away from the parents. You don't think that's bad?
No, not really. For Nigeria, it's not different. I mean, if you're in Ibadan, for instance, your parents can actually come anytime, any day and see you. But if you're in the UK, parents can't easily come as they used to come.
To find money.
Yeah. So, and of course, advanced countries, their process are a little bit more rigid. Yeah. So that's
just like what you were telling me this morning, that you don't follow the rules of the school, where you just come in to see your kids and talk. Nigeria, you can show up at any time.
And there are schools in Nigeria that tell you, you know, even all the schools my kids have attended, it's always there. You can't visit at certain hours. You see those hours, that's when I visit. I don't know why you say I can't visit a child I put in your care at any time. My point is any time. I feel the need to, I should be able to see.
No, it's not right. The reason is very simple. If every single parent visits at the time you visit, then the school has policies. So if you actually go against it, then he also teaches the children that it is good to always go against the school policy.
I tell you to my eyes, I uncovered the abuse of my son by doing that.
But it's still not
right. It's right.
According to her. Well, let me bring you back to our educational sector, because listening to you and studying the policies that we have implemented, at least we've been on the show, I've been on the show for 11 years, and I have discussed across different ministers that have been put in charge of education, and the problem they see more often is infrastructure. So would you say that the government is allocating our budgetary allocation, or how we are executing our budgetary allocation for educational sector is misplaced in dealing with the core problem that we have in the educational sector?
See, a child can learn under the and get the best form of education.
True.
You can't keep going to X. I mean, unfortunately, most of the people put in position of ministers of education are zero qualified. The truth of the matter is that they are professors, but they are zero qualified. So the truth of the matter is that if the right person come in power, you will see how things will change. You don't need to be in a beautiful AC furnished classroom to be an exceptional child. You get my point? These things are good. These are nice to have, but they are not the most critical things. So let's first of all understand that, like I talk about care, you need to know, I mean, the poorest child doesn't mean, you can see a child that didn't grow in that silver house, but you see that child well behaved, well cared for, not because the parents has everybody, the parents paid attention and they care. What children need the most is care. And once you give them that care, and you can put some basic things in place, and the place is safe, you can see that the learning skyrockets.
Okay, so my fear is, you know, for lack of facility, there can be no care. It's easier, it's demotivating for both teachers and students. And the example Tokwe is trying to give is that here, nobody really sent. It's a sign itself that they don't care. That, you know, a child is put in a very difficult situation to learn. How can you leave a child in a attached roof or, you know, bad roof classroom?
No chairs, no seats.
No matter how the care you give the child, is that encouraging for the child? How do you do that balance? I'd like you to...
I think also, so I'm trying to answer it, I think also we also need to understand as a country, why do we even need to educate our people? So a few months ago, I went to Eton College. I spent like 6 hours there. I needed to understand why. One of the first schools in the UK. And one of the things they told me that Eton was especially set up to educate British people that they are a local school and they remain the local school, right? That is their intention. And from it, a lot of thousands of other schools have sprung up, right? If we understand that education is actually a tool that we can use to transform our nation, that gives us a foundational base. So every other thing we fix in place will take shape. I don't want to start talking about because I mean, when you talk about infrastructure, it's relative, right? So if I don't want to start talking about those things that we assume are the infrastructures. Currently, I mean, technology is very critical now in learning. If the children can have a very safe environment, a very safe and neat environment that can protect them and quality teachers that can show them care and educate them, these are all they need, and it may not cost us so much.
Yes, so let me take this call. Okay. Gladys has called all the way from New York. Welcome to the show. Good morning. Hi, Gladys. Hello, good morning, Gladys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, thank you so much. I enjoy your program. So
thank you.
Different give us the opportunity to be stable all the time. But the little time I have joined into it. I actually have a question for the very speaker this morning. He's talking about how can we transform the education system in the nation. And how can we have a suitable environment of learning? Sorry, excuse me. When our leaders are not ready to set up things, the infrastructure in the schools are not properly arranged.
Well, I've got to our leaders. I understand you cannot discuss education without discussing about leadership and governance, but I think that what we want to do is not castigate on this show. We want to inform our leaders. If we say they don't know, then let them, by listening to this show, get information. You were going to ask a question.
Yeah. So
I was going to ask about tech because you ventured
Let
into...
me just answer briefly.
Yes, please, go ahead.
So for me, the leaders are actually us. That's the flesh and blood. So that somebody don't agree now doesn't mean the person will agree tomorrow. That's why we teach. You teach a child, you teach again, you keep teaching till they will stick. So the point is that a leader may not understand now, a leader may not understand tomorrow, next tomorrow, but maybe the first time they will understand. So the point is that that's the purpose of this kind of engagement, so that they can listen, they can understand the critical importance, and we keep emphasizing it till the time they said we have non-bought in, and then we move. So that's basically how I see them, actually.
That's a great perspective. Right, so talking about care when it comes to education, the place of care, I wanted to venture into tech. How do you think that tech can be incorporated or utilized to speak to the heart of education, what education should be in this day and age? How do you think that we can leverage tech better for all collaborative arms in the educational sector, whether it be teachers, students, parents, guardians? How do you think that we can have, that tech can help to provide a platform where we can synergize and, create a more robust process such that we address care as it should be given in education, and we can actually, move things forward in this sector?
Before you answer, let me take Austin. Austin has called from Surulere. Welcome to the show, Austin. Good morning.
Good morning, Austin.
Good morning, ladies, and the gentleman there. You're doing great.
Thank you.
I've been listening to your guests. I was wondering, what about core values, morality? Sometimes when you give these children all the best education, but moral depravity messes up everything. Like some schools, some that went to Dubai, and there was a video of a particular girl messing up. So what about morals? What about core values? How can our educational system inculcate this? Because if you spend the millions and then the behavior, the attitude is zero, it's going to be, the outcome eventually will not be desirable. What do you think about that? Thanks.
Okay, so, we have different arms of education. So, but majorly what we know here and we focus so much is on academic education.
The secular part.
We have spiritual education, and this type of educations are very critical. We have the moral education, like he was talking about. Can you imagine a first-class graduate going to jail? That's a slap. I've always said that the true, the true proof of the education that you have is your character. So, if you have bad character, your education is worthless, right? So the point is that, and remember, it's the society that trains a child.
Sure.
And that's why if we get the foundation right, the society knows that this is not allowed here. This is not allowed here. ideally, human beings are designed to be erroneous. That is why you have rules, you have policies, you have this. So that's why the government has to do their part, making sure that rules are being made, the consequences are followed, and then we don't bypass any form of process. So I think in terms of building the morals and standards and organization, this is where the government plays this critical role. Because even the Bible tells you that the purpose of the government is to ensure that the right behaviors are being maintained.
Yeah, but so she asked the question about using technology to advance educational sector. Okay. And I'd like to say, do we need it at this time in Nigeria?
Yes, fortunately, we work with more than 2,000 top private schools in Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
So, we have access to almost all of them. So we understand how our technology have shaped their learning. So, I mean, there are so many ways that we can deploy technology. One is actually in teaching and learning. So let me give you an instance. The quality of who teaches you determines your output. Sure. So to have the best teachers in every school is impossible. So that is why you see somebody like in programming, we have like Moshe Medani. Moshe Medani has taught more than 10 million people. And he does that online. So with Moshe Medani, you see that they have 10 million overqualified or exceptional software engineers. So you can actually invest. You can see some people like you, Lesson, that did some amazing stuff, right? But aside from that, you can, if let's say Chika now decides to record something on, let's say, media marketing with your wealth of experience, and you see that 1 million mass communication children watch it, trust me, they will have exact same quality. So, and the only way you can get it to those people without time is through technology. Then in terms of, in terms of assessment, you know, there's one of the things we did that actually caused a lot of transformation in education. We stopped assessing based on, for instance, when we take our CBT assessment, we are not coming to say, you got maths B, or you got maths 40. We want to know, okay, maths has...
Let's talk about this assessment evaluation with tech when we come back from this break. We take a quick break. When we return, we continue with how to deal with the challenges of our educational sector and the key areas that will help us see improvement in our next generation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Good morning, Marina Station.
As the morning light filters in, the Max Breakfast kickstarts your day from the bedside.
We bring you the morning vibe and plenty of ginger to start your day right.
Join us on the Max Breakfast as we help you seize your day one step at a time. On Max Hits, we've got the ultimate playlist for you. We give you back-to-back.
And all the biggest news from the world of entertainment, only on Max Hits.
Area, waiting the apple, waiting the shop. Tune into our award-winning waiting the 102.3 Max FM.
Lagos, Nigeria, you're welcome to the Max Drive.
Whether you're there for inside motor, you're there for inside traffic, we're there for you with a Max Doing.
You know what it is. It's the Max House Party. King Dion, DJ Charlie Shee. Let's go!
102.3 Max FM. Hit music for Lagos.
Global Entrepreneurship Festival to be hosted at the Entrepreneurship Village in Nigeria, November 22nd to the 24th. Join world leaders, heads of state, diplomats, ministers, governors, investors, policymakers, tech leaders, organizations, startups, and entrepreneurs from all over the world. To attend, visit www.globalentrepreneurshipfestival.com. For partnerships, call 234-912-165-9914. Over 20 million viewers, 5,000 event participants, 200 exhibitors, 43 global...
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing the educational sector, the necessary reforms and much more. We have with us Mr. Alex Onya. I got that right? Mm-hmm. Yes, I've been doing private consultation during the break, but let us now go back to making it open. She has a question.
Yes, so, we've been going on back and forth, but we need to talk about the key thing right now, the curriculum. Let's talk about the present curriculum we have, and what exactly is wrong with our curriculum within the school system, what we can do to improve it, or what we need, whether we still need certain things within the curriculum, or we need to phase certain things out, and then, import new ones.
Okay, so fortunately for the curriculum, I think I have a little bit more information on that. Firstly, our curriculum is outdated. I mean, it's outdated. That is one. I mean, in terms of the content itself, it's outdated. Secondly, is of course outdated means it's less relevant to the modern day, right? And then also the method, which is the role learning approach I talked about. So it makes it not recommended for our society right now. So I actually reached out to the people at NERDC, that's the Nigerian Education Research Development Commission. And these are the people, this is the institute that is in charge of our curriculum reviews and development. So the last time they did any modification was 15 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so I reached out to them, and I saw, because of course I looked at the budget. The budget for this year, 100 million for review. And I used that case study and said, you people have this money. How do you plan to do it? Do you want to use it or do you want to embezzle it? So they now said, that this September that they are going to roll out a new curriculum. So I asked again. They still, because at some point, even the Minister of Education has to mandate them to do that. But the truth of the matter is that we're almost at the end of August, and I haven't heard anything. And of course, if you want to roll out a curriculum, I believe that there's a point for public review. And we've not seen that. So I can't really say if it's going to be out, but from the last response they gave me last week when I asked again, they said it will still be available. So based on that, this is definitely the much I can say on that. But it's very critical that we have to change that curriculum. Because I was telling them that these private schools spend hundreds of millions every year in terms of curriculum, because almost every single private school has a new way, different way they approach their things. And they invest money in this curriculum review because they have their own internal curriculum, aside from the national one, right? So you need to partner with these people. Anytime I'm in Cambridge, I go to Cambridge like 2 or 3 times every year, and we go on different trainings. And I see a lot of them. I know how much they spend trying to get more knowledge. If you can't partner with them and you want to do it on your own, I think you may still never get it right.
Wow. So since we're discussing curriculum, I have a question or comment. So you did something last year. People from your village.
Yes.
Students from your village scored. A lot of them, 70% failed their JAM, and you took responsibility, which is very important, because when you mention we are the leaders, there's somebody watching right now. There are many school owners, school CEOs, and you know that in your hometown people are failing exams, and you did something. I want you to tell us what you did, because if 70% failed exams in 2023, and in 2024 everybody got over 200. So what you did worked. They got over 200. You said even about many scored over 250, a few scored over 300 in the same environment where just a year before 70% failed. What did you do that brought that massive result?
What was the cost?
Yes.
So first of all, this was a combined effort.
Okay.
Which fortunately I played a very key role in that. So the truth of the matter is that what we did was very different. I told my team early then, when we identified the gap, because it was actually above 70%, I told them, say, listen, we can't do the same thing and expect a different result. So there's something we are going to do. We are going to create like a mock school. So we're going to give them intensive drilling Monday through Saturday. We started from morning and evening. So we have to do it. Bring everybody. We had like 268 at the end. So we started putting them on morning and evening. So they started studying. But then I told them, let's not stop there. We're first of all going to assess the student every month. So assessing the student every month, let's even know their gaps. That was where I was talking about gaps. So this is what we call gap analysis. It's one tool that our software has. So we had to deploy that. So when we are looking at your maths, we want to see that your gap is in geometry, not in algebra. So if we are saying, so you know what, let's focus in the next period, let's focus on closing that geometry gap. So we noticed that between this month and next month, we notice that there's significant improvement, right? And we are looking at the flow. So in English, synonyms, antonyms, lexis and structure, we are looking at how you are closing those gaps, right? So where we are, sometimes we have to go back. Another thing we started doing was, as we are giving the students assessments, we are also giving the teachers assessments.
Wow.
So we realized that, you know, when you cut, just like when you say doctor sounds like everybody's excellent. There are low-class doctors, there are top-class doctors. So in teaching, there are low-class teachers. So we had to fire like 4 teachers. And when we fired them, like for one of the subjects we did was chemistry, that we noticed significant improvement in the chemistry. So the teacher, you scored 17.
As a teacher?
Yes. In an exam that even the students that you are teaching are scoring higher than you.
Oh my God.
So, and you know,
wow.
No, the point is that fortunately we have a system. So there were a lot of intentionality in that.
I need to take this call, but what you just said was a major problem. Ibrahim has called in from K2. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, morning to your guys here also.
All right.
Like what he's saying right now is all about reading. We still need to practicalize what we are saying or what we are studying in the school now. Because I went to public, my children went to private now. I'm not saying the same thing, which is practical. When a teacher is teaching, like skeleton now, we need to have it in school, not to tell the teacher of nowadays to go and bring it. Now, you're talking about mathematics. Why are they feeling? There's nothing practicalized in it. In my house, there's a lot of books. There's nothing like physical. In the office, you are reading books, you do this. For a little while, you go out there and do work. Take a walk, then come back. That is practical. We need something practical in the public school, not on all this tech. We have one in Yaba, we have one in Nigeria like that. Not only just basic, secondary, and primary, the popular one. In the class, the government, whether it's a teacher or whatever, we provide this in the classroom. The students will go and provide a flow for it, and that's stress for the body for them. Show them what you are saying. You will see that they will not fail again. Show them what you are saying. Practicalize it. This is one. Bring out the one. How the one stand, the figure of one. How does it minus? How does it remove? Bring out curves. Not only the primary or the secondary or the J or the S. That's what I'm saying, right? Everywhere. All class must practicalize what they are saying. We come out and speak English too much in this country. Vocals. Nothing to shop like, doctor, you don't know you have not seen skeleton from your day one. Ilya does not even, I've never even seen or seen what they call cell. So thank you.
Back to public schools, because the majority of Nigerian students are still seeking education from public school, and the average Nigerian cannot even afford a good private school. So the interventions that we need to cause real change in Nigeria has to take place within the public school. And I'd like you to get practical. He was very angry. He went to public school and he was saying, how would they be telling the students to bring the skeleton? I said, this thing should be in the school. Let them be able to touch and feel the things themselves. So please, I'd like you to help us break down a few of the things that you feel the government can do. Cheap wins that they can do to change the results we are getting, especially at the primary school level within Nigeria.
Yes, so like I said, if you can't use the same old way and expect a different result. Modern schools are some of the schools that we are looking forward to, like the US and the UK, they are not trying to put children under pressure to be the first or to trying to judge them by who got highest in WAEC. No, they are more interested in, because they believe that every child is unique. And their learning method is unique. So they try to follow the child as in their own pace. So if we want to get the kind of results they have, then we have to periodically look at what they are doing. The truth of the matter is that before we go when you see sometimes, I just believe that you understand it better. When you see Nigerians expressing themselves angrily, it's also a deficiency in education. Because you know why? If you understand how communication and criticism work, no matter how people communicate, these are part of the things they teach. You can say normal British child, you're expressing yourself, they are listening. I'm so sorry, this is it. I'm so sorry, this is part of education. Just like if you want to be like a hostess in an airplane, they will teach you how to be able to manage. So it's important, it's part of core part of education. So now, what I'm saying is, if the governments are well educated and we are now telling them, okay, we need our attention. Because from that attention, they start, okay, you know what, we have like a very qualified team, not a political team, that understands the things to do. And then the things are being put in place. Trust me, you'll start seeing those changes. But if it's still political, unfortunately, you will never see anything.
So now I'm beginning to wonder, in the sense of partnerships, what partnerships, for instance, do you think we can start to implement between public-private stakeholders to actually meet with government on this table to ensure that we can start to fast track some of these things? If we know that government cannot do it alone. So for brands such as yourself, how do you think that brands like you can partner with government to actually start to change the systems, for instance, in our public educational sectors? How can we help?
The truth of the matter is that fortunately we have one of the most advanced technology that basically helps education across different places. So in terms of the technology part, we have what it takes. Unfortunately, we've already developed quite a number of relationships, locally and internationally, but that still doesn't solve it. We have a lot of conversations on partnership. The point is that those minds, I mean, I don't want to be discussing partnership with you, while in your head you are calculating not even
how much money
you
come to you at the end of the day.
So, and when you have those kind of conversations, it's very discouraging. And it's very easy to detect. You get it? So it's not like, so when you have the heart, a lot of things will fix. So the point is, who is appointing? Can you actually appoint credible people?
Is it not the same states where people are removed because they are not politicians and they are technocrats?
Exactly.
People were removed. People who delivered were removed because they were not politicians. And then we bring in politicians into the place and then we're not hearing anything again. So
because I've got a number of government. I just realized that I'm talking A, these people are in F. They are not, and I've been trying to talk to you. So the point is that I'm not condemning them because, like I said, I will keep talking. But there's no point trying to waste so much energy when I know that your intent is completely different.
All right, let me take this call. I'll come to you, Nima, after this call.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show. Good morning. Caller.
Hello.
Matthew, from Bariga.
Good morning. I'm the first caller on your program.
Yay! Thank you. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. And you are having a very interesting topic this morning, and I'd like to contribute as a secondary school teacher. Okay, so I teach in a private school, and I want to say that many of the problems that we have in our educational sector is from the secondary school. Actually, over the years, when I mean over the years, mass promotion of students in private schools, parents taking and assisting examination malpractices, then teachers also taking and abating examination malpractices. I tell you, I've seen it over and over that students that are not qualified to be promoted to the next class are always being promoted, and it saddens my heart as a teacher. But, when we have meetings, staff meetings, we talk, but not being the owner of the schools and all that, there's nothing you can do. And we see, for example, few years ago, about 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we had mass failure of our students, and many of them are treating GC the pass. So my school doesn't allow my practice. So when they wrote to WAEC, many of them did not do well. So when they came for the VS, only to say that many students that did not do well, they are already in their institution. So what we are saying is that secondary schools, private schools especially, are accomplished in the kind of graduate that we produce. Many of them don't know anything, and yet they are graduating from secondary school and going to private universities. Many of the private universities admit those students that are not even fit to be in SS1. So many of the problems we are having are from what? From the secondary school, especially the private secondary school. Many of them.
Thank you so much, Mr. Matthew. I think Mr. Matthew probably teaches in the government secondary school, and he's seeing that problem.
From what Mr. Matthew said, but I wanted to.
I think it's below income secondary school. That's the word we should.
No, even for.
No, even in terms of that,
Yeah. So I was going to ask earlier, because it can be discouraging when you have to partner government with anything.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with politicians and their interests. Part time. But you did something that Tokwe talked about improving your community and the way education is there. How far do you think this can go, and how encouraging do you see individual, maybe corporate entities or individuals who have the same interests. For instance, even the what do they call it, Igwe of your community. How far do you think their partnerships can take this instead of dealing with the elected?
So what happened here, which I expected it to happen. What happened right now is that all my senatorial districts are adopting the model now. So the government, the governor also, and the senator in charge, they have now fully taken over. So they have adopted it. So I expected that. So there's some other people across different spread places that are now trying to do something within. So what Nigeria normally needs is a first mover, right? If you want to come to the toll gate, follow the wrong way, people will follow you. So the point is who will move first. Right? So I think we also need to start developing that first mover mindset, knowing that if we wait to complain, we'll complain forever.
Sorry, the caller mentioned, passing kids who have failed. And so BC usually says that examination is not the true test of anybody. Would you say that sometimes it is required to pass students who have failed? This is because, case in question, I saw 3 teachers discussing with a language teacher, saying you're teaching a strange language to all the students in class and you're failing them in primary 2 for wrong spelling. Now, if you look at what the kids wrote, they already knew what she was asking, but they couldn't spell in that language. So, in failing those kids, is she doing the right thing? Or what would you advise her to be the yardstick for testing the knowledge of the children?
My children, the only, the weakest mark they got when they were leaving primary school was in Yoruba, and that was because they couldn't read the question, and they left them at primary 6 that you should be able to read.
So these ones could even read the question, but when they want to write numbers,
said orally because
they wrote it
different ways,
a different way. So they are writing with their phonics that they and the teacher is marking them for wrongly spelling Yoruba words. So how would you rate that?
So firstly, any child that fails anything, the person, you have to fail the person. It's not that. It's that one by deal is
failing in spelling.
Failing is failing. That you failed because of your cause. It doesn't mean the person didn't fail. As a teacher, for the child to fail, that means you actually contributed, but still fail the child. Then go back and fix things. But that is one. Secondly, there's something that we also need to understand. That's why when I started here, I talked about basic education. In the UK, only 53% of their entire population went to school outside of the secondary education. So when you hear about graduates, only 53%. In the US, only 50%. So the most critical part of education is that basic education. That's what a society, that's why it's mandatory and it's free. In Nigeria, they will tell you it's free and it's actually free because it's mandatory, it's a societal critical need. So when you don't pay attention to it, every other thing you see, I'm a first principled person. I understand that Newton's third law of motion will tell you that action and reaction are equal and opposite. If you forget that principle, you can never fly a rocket. So why they're coming to tell me that when you flew the rocket, you started flying on the air? No, you missed that first principle. So I think we should focus more on that foundation. Even the Bible tells you, clean inside the cup, and then the outside will be clean. So that's basically how I think. So let's go back, fix that basic, because what a child should know, a child should actually know it. And when children know these things, by the time they are coming up, these things becomes easy, right? Then all these other miracle centers and all these things, naturally they'll start fitting their way.
But so this brings me to what I want to say in terms of like, you're talking about the importance of early education. Why are there still kids on the streets when we have public schools? Because I don't understand why, even for a place like even Lagos State, I get so angry when I see all these kids outside because by now I expect that at least Lagos State, there shouldn't be any child on the street.
Leave Lagos alone.
Do you understand? So even in the host, no, but as in, even like police officials, anybody that sees any child on the street should come in. Supposed to be. You understand? Because
it's even the Lagos is still a leadership problem. You know why? If you remember Lateef Jakonde, he's one leader in Lagos that did the best thing in education.
Yes.
Most of the people today, actually, you see them benefited from him, right? Education was interesting, education was fun. If you made education interesting, fun, and lovely, even children in the streets will prefer to be in school. So you can't, like I said, you can't ignore the critical things. And so in terms of every other leader have come after Lateef Jakonde, they have constantly failed in education. So you understand? So they should go back. What has worked? Because there's no point reinventing the wheel. What did he do right? Can we copy something from him? Let's fix it. You understand? I think doing that thing is better than buying all the smart boards.
That's true.
You understand? Why majority of your children are in the street begging?
That's true.
What's the point?
It's not Lagosians. See, this matter, I have discussed it with the governor, deputy governor. The challenge with, and the former commissioner for education was an education...
Mr. Defisai.
Yes, this was her passion, and there was a lot of work that went into it. Sadly, we're not seeing as much continuity. I'm not seeing as much continuity as I'd love to see. But the issues were beyond... getting people off the street was beyond the government, because the street children, and most of them are not Lagosians, most of them, they bring them in and it is a commercial activity. They don't want their children in school, because if their children are in school, they cannot make money. Those children make money from knocking on the windows of people that are driving, and that's the way, you see the parents will sit down and the parents keep churning out babies, and yet they have them on the streets.
And to be honest, even because
so it is a business thing. If you take them off the street, they will take the children back, because they will not have food to eat if they are not on that street. So I understand, and we blame Lagos all the time, and yet they keep... If you see them, they are coming in
but they should arrest
in
them,
large numbers.
Do you know what a government is?
You're supposed to clear them from the streets.
Do we understand what a government
Once
is?
government is working,
they should clear. They should not even the with their mother should not be on. They should not beg, no soliciting.
I feel like there's also a huge mental mindset shift. How many young people on their own, of their free will and volition, actually understand the importance? I want to go through the education route to success. So do you think that mindset problem that exists, we cannot deny it, is something that we should, because we have young people, young boys who actually, if they have the opportunity to go to school, they want to go and do Yahoo and make quick money. Because they are saying to you, the money that I make at one sitting, I will
we have just 2 more minutes to wrap up the show. I'd like you to...
There's something I need to tell you. Environment is basically what shapes people. There's nothing like a bad child. There's nothing like a good child. Take that notorious child to the UK. Just let the person get into Heathrow. Or even see it, let's go to American embassy, bring that notorious child. Just Nigeria here, we've not left. Within that period that the person is waiting for that interview, you will see the best form of behavior. Don't create an environment that forms bad behavior. So the most important thing is this: government have all the power to make any change. Government have no single excuse. So what they need to do is let them engage other people, other governments, and see what they did differently. That is where partnership and innovation happens. What did they do in China? What did they do in Thailand? What did they do in some of these places that have gone through what you are going through now and have advanced? What did they do in the US that have gone through what you are going through like 50 years ago? Take ideas from there, implement it. It will work. We are still on this earth. Those ideas will always work. So excuses are not allowed. They should basically get the ideas.
I like my excuse back. I take my excuse back. Thank you so much. My God, you have shared a whole lot, and I really am grateful for the collaboration you made last year that has brought results this year. I'm praying that without your effort, it will still continue. And I would also, when you were saying it, it just occurred to me that if every successful private school adopts a public school, we probably will see improvements in our educational sector. So while we're waiting for the government and the politicians to pay attention, let a public school, a private school adopt a public school. It might help to boost the educational opportunities within that place. We wish you all the best in all of this. We'll continue our conversation after we finish the show. That's all we can take on today's show. It was loaded. If you missed any part, please don't about the educational. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.